I feel like I should have some kind of intro in my videos. I'll think of one eventually, whatever. For now, this'll have to do. Intro. Intro. This is an intro. The relationship between genetics and bending in the Avatar world is never fully addressed in the show. We might be given a few hints and pieces of information about how it works, but it's never made totally clear. In this video, I'm going to give my opinion about how I think it should work, regardless of what the creators' actual ideas are, if they even have any. Let me first say, I'm not going to talk about the actual science of genetics. I'm not going to talk about DNA or the chemistry of it or anything. More just about how someone's bending abilities relates to that of their parents and to their ethnicity. Okay, so there are two topics that I want to address. One is about whether someone is a bender or a non-bender, and the other is about what type of bender someone is, that is, if they are a bender at all. First, let's talk bender versus non-bender. This does not seem to be related to someone's genetics, at least not entirely, given that there was a pair of twins where one was an earthbender and the other was a non-bender.
Come with me. I'm an earthbender. I'm not.
The paragraph about them on the original Avatar website even says, bending abilities are not genetic. There might be an exception to this in the fact that all 100% full-blood air nomads are airbenders. That's related to genetics somehow, but with the other ethnicities it seems to be kind of random. Like there's a 25 or 30% chance of being a bender or something like that. The weird thing though is that in some cases there seems to be some kind of correlation. As far as we know, everyone in the royal family bloodline of the Fire Nation is a firebender. And there seem to be some places where there are no benders at all, like Kyoshi Island, but these might just be coincidences. Maybe there are some kind of genes or something that make it more likely for someone to be a bender, but it's still not entirely related to genetics or something. I don't know. I remember hearing somewhere that the original script had Master Pakku being Sokka and Katara's actual grandfather, and that was going to be the explanation for where Katara got her waterbending from, because neither of her parents are waterbenders. So they may have originally intended the ability to bend to be related to genetics. They dropped that from the script though because they thought it was too mature for a Nickelodeon show because it implies that Pakku and Kana hooked up before they got married and right before Kana deserted the North Pole and went to the South Pole. But yeah, so that's not canon, so yeah, I don't know. Let's move on to the second topic, someone's genetics related to what type of bender they are. Now this is obviously genetic. It's obviously related to someone's ethnicity. As I discussed in a previous video, there are 4 main ethnicities in the Avatar world. Someone is either of Water Tribe, Earth Kingdom, Fire Nation, or Air Nomad descent. You can only be the type of bender of whatever ethnicity or ethnicities you are. Avatar being the exception, of course. For example, if Sokka and Suki had a kid that happened to be a bender, it could only ever be a water or earth bender. They couldn't have a fire or air bender. So this is how I think the inheritance of bending abilities should work. The likeliness of someone being any given type of bender is related to the percentages of their ethnicities. So if an air nomad and a water tribe person have a bending child, there's a 50% chance that that kid will be an airbender and a 50% chance that that kid will be a waterbender. The show seemed to follow this somewhat. Mako and Bolin are both half Earth Kingdom and half Fire Nation, and one of them is an earthbender and one of them is a firebender. And Kaya and Tenzin are each half air nomad and half water tribe, and one is a waterbender and the other is an airbender. But here's where I think the show kind of messed up. Why are all of Tenzin's kids airbenders? Each one of his kids is only 1/4 air nomad. The odds of all of them being airbenders should be pretty low. The chance of any one of his kids being an airbender should be 25%. That is if the kid is a bender at all, so the actual percentage is even lower than that. We don't know what ethnicity Pema was, but she's probably Earth Kingdom or Fire Nation or both. And Tenzin himself is half Water Tribe, so some of his kids should be waterbenders, and some of them should be Earth and or Firebenders. Wouldn't it have been cool if Pema was half Earth Kingdom and half Fire Nation? So that means the kids are each 1/4 of each ethnicity. And then it would have been cool if he had one kid be each type of bender. Also, why did they make it seem like it was solely Tenzin's responsibility to repopulate the air nomads? Even though they aren't airbenders, Kaya and Bumi are both half air nomad. With the way I think it should work, I think Kaya and Bumi's hypothetical kids should be just as likely to be airbenders as Tenzin's kids. If they had done it like this on the show, I think it would have made it look like a much more intelligent show. But I think they didn't because the casual viewer might get confused. They might be like, oh, how did Tenzin have a waterbender kid? He's not a waterbender. Without thinking about how Tenzin himself is half water tribe. So, yeah, that's how I think the inheritance of bending should work in the Avatar world. If you're 1/4 Fire Nation, 1/4 Earth Kingdom, and half Water Tribe, then there's a 25% chance you'll be a Firebender, a 25% chance you'll be an Earthbender, and a 50% chance you'll be a Waterbender. That is, if you are a bender at all. I tried to explain this as best as I could. I can see how it might have been confusing. Let me know in the comments if you understand what I was saying in this video. And let me know how you think the inheritance or genetics of bending should work. This channel's primary purpose is to discuss, analyze, criticize, enjoy, etc. the show Avatar: The Last Airbender and anything related to it. If you like the show, check out my other videos. You might like what you see, maybe subscribe. Alright, see ya, have a good one.